Radio. Yo, what it is, world? It's your boy J Newz, and you are now tuned into Not Rated Radio, the coolest podcast in the world. And today, we have a very, very special guest in the building. I'd like to introduce the lovely Samantha Mack. How you doing, baby?
I'm wonderful.
You know, second time's a charm, you know?
Second time's a charm. Do you want to do it a third time just in case?
Oh, man. If it calls for it. Nah, just play it. But no, first and foremost, it's a pleasure to have you on. Can't wait to chop it up with you and, see what Samantha Mack is all about. Because I'm definitely interested in what you got going on. Because you got the personality, you got the presence. Like, I'm here. God damn it. You need to know that.
I'm here. I'm here. You're here.
Right. We making it happen. Making it happen. Well, no, first and foremost, to all our fans, supporters out there, if you can give them a brief summary on who Samantha Mack is from the start of your career to where you are now.
That's such a loaded question. So I'm Samantha Mack. I started off as a stripper. I became a porn star. And I'm from Canada. So in Canada, we don't have agents and PR like they do here in Los Angeles. So in order to get work, I had to create a roster of talent. In order to have a roster of talent, I had to train people. So I created a program called Porno Boot Camp.
Okay.
And Porno Boot Camp got picked up by Vice, and we are their second most watched documentary of all time.
Word.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
Oh,
you know that deserves a motherfucking bomb on that. You dig it?
And so here we are. We're like 9 days away from our next casting call for the next Porno Boot Camp, which we'll be doing at the XBiz convention, which is at the Hollywood Palladium.
Yeah, it's right up the street.
I'm new. I don't know all these places and names. Palladium in my head was like a playland, like roller coasters and things.
Oh yeah. I can see that.
I'm so confused out
like
here.
A carnival or so.
So we're working with international film production company to make it into a TV show, into an episodic series about what it takes to be an amateur getting into porn. So these are courses I've been teaching for years and years and years now, and it came out of necessity because we needed performers. We didn't have any.
Right.
And people would show up with all these ideas in their head of what pornography was, and they would do some crazy things. So we gave them like a set etiquette class. We told them what the expectations were. We made everything really clear, and we created some really, really amazing performers who have gone on to become XBiz and AVN nominated and award winning.
Oh, okay.
So
you like the gatekeeper. You like putting people on in a situation. That's major.
Gatekeeper's like, that's a heavy term. I'm just like the magical little porno fairy. like you might have some skill. Why don't we see what you could do? Poof, here's your trophy, sir.
So here you go. God damn it. Okay, cool. That's dope. So you see you on your second season?
Yeah, so we were supposed to shoot in 2019. But then COVID happened.
Of course.
So we've just kind of been like stalling until a production company was willing to like pick us up again and take the responsibility of filming something where people are like, in close COVID quarters.
Okay. So how is that?
We should be season 4 by now, but we're season 2.
Season 2. No, I feel that. So how has that been with the, working in the industry and this whole COVID situation happening? I know it's been kind of a difficult situation. Can you talk a little bit about it and break it down how it's been hurting or helping the industry?
Well, in the beginning, everybody was really cautious because nobody wants to be the
that
bad
person,
guy.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be the person that introduces COVID to the industry. But we're such a tight-knit community, and our testing is so strict that I think we actually went over and above compared to other industries. So, we're COVID tested up to 48 hours before every shoot. All of our STI testing is done within 14 days of every shoot. So, we're just constantly getting swabbed and having blood taken.
Damn.
We probably know our health status more than anyone else.
Right.
So it was really, really easy to keep it under control. And because we're such an open industry too, because once again, we're a very small community, as soon as somebody was ill, we all know. And so we can take those precautions immediately. I've noticed in other businesses and other industries, people are like, "Oh no, I got the C word," and they won't tell anyone. They're like, "Oh no, I'm just taking a few days off. I'm just sick. My grandma died for the 4th time. I need time off." They're so ashamed to say that they caught it. And in our industry, we're like, man, we deal with some like crazy things all the time. So like we're just really wild and open, and it's better to be safe than sorry. So I think our industry really got ahead of COVID. And I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I talk to a lot of entertainers, and they just be like, "Man, COVID this, COVID that, COVID." Has a bad scenario and it has a good because it said to some people it slowed time down.
Well, okay, so there's two different trains of thought. Like when you're talking about porn stars, and this is one thing we talk about porn boot camp. Like
Mm,
I come from the indie side where we have to build our performers, we have to build everything from the ground up.
mm,
We are the production companies, we are the advertising companies
mm,
because once again, we don't have the database and the what's it called? The I can't think of the word. The accessories that we have out here.
okay.
Like in Los Angeles, like you can wake up and just be like, I'm a porn star today. Ring ring. Oh, hello, agent. Where am I working? 11 o'clock? No problem. What's the address? I'll show up. And then you just jump out of the shower, show up. Somebody else does your hair, someone else does your makeup, somebody else picks your wardrobe, or you bring your own wardrobe. Like
Yeah.
it's so easy. So for
Hmm.
people who are running the business like that and just going to whatever call they've been called to just be fabulous, when COVID hit, that shut them down.
Hell yeah.
That was horrible. For me, being somebody who does everything, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't shoot with these specific people or in these specific locations or with these specific rules. No problem. I've had to work around things for 12 years. I got
Yeah,
this.
I got
And
this.
so we were able to like find new locations, find workarounds, find specific groups of people to continue working with instead of expanding our circle.
Mhm.
So I mean, for like more indie style porn producers, it was a lot. COVID was actually kind of a blessing for us because it
Yeah.
made everybody hungry for work.
Mhm.
So instead of us being like, "Hey, you want to shoot with us?" They're like, "Oh, I don't know, you're not brazzers." And that's like not having them to work with. Now they were like, "Please,
Yeah,
anybody work with us."
anybody.
So we were able to like really, really expand, and so
Yeah.
that's where you saw things like OnlyFans, Is My Girl, Just for
Mhm.
Fans, ManyVids. You saw all that blow up because
Mhm.
people were like, "Oh shoot, these companies have rules, but the individuals don't."
Don't.
So
That's
you can't
nice.
just wake up and be like, "Oh, hello, agent. Where am I working today?" Like that didn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So for them, sucked. For me, great.
If it's at me, great. You know what? I can't even get mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Just another situation, another blessing, that just those at the end of the day, I feel like I tell everybody all the time that you need to know how to do majority of the stuff. You can't be
Yeah,
relying on, people to do this and that because you never know. You may not have them no more. Just like you were saying, just like
right,
with the COVID here, hello agent, there ain't no agent no more.
right,
You get the
right.
dial tone like so no, I definitely respect that. Now talk about a little bit about you being in the entertainment business, but it seems like you're taking a stance and being more behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Which do you like more, being in front of the camera or being the woman behind the scenes?
I
Commanding shots.
the older I get, the more I like being behind the scenes.
Hmm.
Yeah. I I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of the industry.
Hmm.
And so by being a curator, I'm in a wonderful position now where I've got experience behind me, got some hard lessons behind me, but
Yeah.
like I'm now able to create a more positive introduction into the industry for people like me
Yeah.
here a decade later. So it's really important to me to make sure that we have certain things in place that weren't in place for me when I started.
Gotcha.
And that's something that's kind of gone full circle with the whole industry now. Like we
Hmm.
have really thorough consent paperwork now that didn't really exist 10 years ago or 4 years ago.
Hmm.
We have like a code of ethics for each company. Well, we're supposed to. We do. And we make all of our expectations really, really clear so that
Hmm.
there is no animosity. There is no less hurt feelings if
Hmm.
somebody doesn't show up or if something goes wrong on set. There's a set standard in place to deal with it instead of people whispering behind each other's backs or getting
Yeah.
anxiety or upset or just feeling disrespected. So um, by shaping the industry that way, I mean we've also gone with the flow. The whole industry's changed, but
Hmm.
it's really taken place because of like these indie production teams that have to be responsible for everything.
Mm.
One of the things I talk about in Porn Boot Camp is like what you legally can and can't produce, and there's been a lot of restrictions lately. I don't know how much you guys know about OnlyFans, but
Hmm.
there was a big blow up in August when they were like, all this content's going to get taken down. You have to
Hmm.
have all this paperwork now. And I was like, yeah, that was the law all along. You just didn't read the fine print.
Right. You
Like
just try to get cash and
you
just like
guys,
skip all that.
you guys like skipped the whole like business side of the job to just flash your titties and get money. Like you
Right.
forgot the important part. Like, and they're like, oh no, they're coming down on us. They're not coming down on you. You fucked up. So it's something that we consistently talk about like how to giving you that like how-to knowledge that didn't exist 10 years ago. Like we always make fun of the casting couch, right? Where you're clearly taking advantage of somebody. And it's become such a meme now. Whereas I was like, no, you know what? There should be really clear expectations. So this is something that we work really, really hard on. So that when you are producing content, you're doing it legally, your ass is covered, you're guaranteed to get paid. Whereas, I mean, you hear horror stories of like porn in the 80s and porn in the 90s, and that wasn't the case at all. And I want that next group of people who are going to like own their sexuality and blast it all over the internet the way they want to make sure that they're doing it the way they want to. And it's not like a coercion situation or a sex, drugs, and rock and roll situation. So, I mean, that's a big undertaking for one person, but the more people there are like me getting together and talking about these things and sharing our knowledge at events like XBiz, we're shaping the whole industry now, which is really, really wonderful.
Hell yeah.
So I like that there's rules and regulations, and I like that we can make things clear for people. And I think that if I was me again 10 years later, this would be such a great time to enter the industry because it's so much safer, it's so much more welcoming and pleasant, and so much more understood.
Yeah. But, hey, I mean,
10 years ago was fun too.
Yeah, the times have changed. Definitely times have changed for sure, for sure. Now talk a little bit about so we talked about, do you still do adult videos, or are you just taking a back burner on that and just focusing again on the behind the scenes?
Well, I'm really working on this show right now. I really want Boy Boot Camp to go forward. I want to put some new faces in the limelight. One thing I really like about it is that we find like the underdogs. You find like these diamonds in the rough, and then make their dreams come true. They're kinky little fetish dreams, but still their dreams come true. So I'm really working behind the scenes on that. And like once again, like the closer I get to 40, the more I'm like, I need to find a different role.
Got you.
I've been in front of the camera for over 1,000 movies, and
I'm getting like that. I mean, being like that, like damn. Now I have a quick question because one of your nicknames that I was reading over the notes is very interesting. So I just need to get clarification on what. I wish I had it on me. I'm trying to remember. It was like the face crusher.
That's it.
I was like, please talk about that, because when I think about that, I think about like you just dropping a cat in the cannonball position on somebody's face.
No.
No.
So okay, the face crusher is a character that was created by Club Stiletto, which is one of the first companies I ever worked for.
Okay.
And they created this like super vigilante hero called Face Crusher.
Okay.
So I would go out and see like men being slutty in bars and like disrespecting women, and then I would like lure them back to my place. And they'd be on my bed thinking they're gonna get some, and then I would like sit on their face and be like, take your last breath. And they're like, my last breath, haha, that's funny. I'm like, oh, I'm glad you think it's funny. And they would sit in their face and grind all over them, and pussy juice going everywhere. Yeah. And then they'd be like, okay, I'm good. I'm like, no, you're not. You're bad. And I would just stay there. So once again, this is like 12 years ago, before we had rules about fake snuff films. Yeah. So we did this whole series where like I was abducting these like bad men, these like playboys that were like hurting women and sitting on their face until they stopped moving. And then the cops would come looking for them, and I'd lure the cops in. I'd get the cops down.
Everybody was getting it.
And if they were just like unconscious, then I'd lock them in a cage, and then they'd wake up, and I'd be like, haha, you've been got by the face crusher. So this is a whole series. Now, this was not a series that I was necessarily happy with.
Right.
I felt like it was kind of like it's funny because like back then, like there's a saying where women are always like, I wish I was as skinny as I was when I thought I was fat. And looking back, like I was so petite and adorable, but I thought that I was fat. And like back like 12 years ago, being like a white girl in Canada, like if someone said you had a big ass, it was an insult. Like you didn't want to be that girl. You wanted the straight ass, the straight hips, the high hip bones, big tits. That's it. Baywatch, right? Yeah. And so everyone's like, "Oh, you got such a big butt," and I'm like, "No, why, God, why?" And so I kept getting hired for this role to sit in people's faces, and I was like, "Oh, I guess that's all I can get." And so I did the role, and I'm like, well, no one will ever know. Like, who's ever going to find out? And I don't know how the name followed me because it's on such a small niche website, and there's like so few films. I don't know how it became like a cult following, but I was on the airport in LAX. This guy, and I'm got a mask and a hoodie on, and he sits down, he goes, do the face crusher? And I was like, really?
Yeah, like that? That's crazy.
Like 12 years later, like still. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna face crush. She's like, do you really like doing that? I'm like, it's so cool. Like I had a script. I had to memorize lines. Like I don't like wake up and be like, huh, that mailman was mean to that package. I think it's a little dented. I'm gonna sit on his face and teach him a lesson. Like that's not how I think.
Right.
And people are like, oh, she loves seeing guys' faces. And I was like, no, they're actually quite lumpy. It hurts my butt. So this face crusher thing has followed me now for over a decade, and it was one of those things where I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just do it. No one will ever find out. Everyone found out, and I was like, I didn't say anything, I didn't advertise it. Everyone's like, really? So this year I was working on a movie. We actually didn't do it in time. We were trying to do like a quick vignette movie before award season, where I was driving up in the red and black Corvette, and the license plate said Crusher on the back of it. And I was just going to put that on there and do like a slow pan up just as a nod to my fans. Like,
still out here? Yeah.
But the funny part is I have a friend back home whose nickname was Crusher.
Nice.
We were in musical theater together. One of his characters was a really dense bodyguard. He would just say crush, crush all the time. So I ended up getting him the license plate. I mailed it all the way back to Canada. I'm like, this is for you. I'm obviously not going to use it.
Hella funny.
So there is a California license plate out there that says Crusher.
Crusher on it. God damn it. Well, y'all heard it, folks. Y'all got the behind story of the name Crusher. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty damn funny.
But that's like a good story about porn though. Like that one thing that you like don't want to do that you think no one will ever find out, so you just do it for the quick money.
Everybody knows.
Man, that's the thing that'll follow you. And it's not that the face crusher was bad. I mean, sure they were like implying snuff films, but she was a vigilante superhero. She stood for women's rights. She was only sitting on those faces to teach those men a lesson.
Oh, that's it,
for the harm they caused women. But man, of all the things I could be remembered for, that man.
What is your next business ventures that you see yourself going to coming from working in the adult industry?
Okay, so my next business venture within the industry or outside the industry?
Both.
Whoa, okay. So within the industry, I'm working on. I changed the SamanthaMack.com to MackMovies.com, and we've got Model of the Month, and we are promoting like new talent. So basically, you go to Mac Models, you go through your porn bootcamp training, you become somebody. We start promoting the heck out of you, help you build your website, build you up. So Mac Movies will have less of me on it and more of my minions.
Okay.
Hopefully that's the goal.
Yeah.
The goal is to make it more of like a browsers type platform with multiple performers on it. And we're using a lot of Canadian performers because
gotta represent.
Gotta represent. And Canadian girls are freaks. I don't know if you know this, but
I did not know that.
Canadian girls are freaks. In a good way. And so that's the location that's going in. Porn Bootcamp, something that we're building on. We have the Porn Bootcamp merch out now, so we're going to start building on that more. And then because I recently lost like 100 pounds, so we're trying to develop a porno bootcamp off spin that's actually like fitness inspired.
Oh, nice.
So you're literally working out to be better at sex.
Y'all just training the shit out of people, huh?
We're gonna it's gonna be focused on like health and fitness, on your endurance, on your stamina, on like your cardio, on your hip flexibility, on other flexibility, and it's gonna be based on being a better sexual performer. Because there's, let's face it, like we go to the gym to work out to look good naked. So let's just like cut the crap and just do what makes us look good naked. And so we're just gonna talk about like creating like a fitness program, like that's not real quick and simple and easy, but easy to understand.
Got you.
And just be like, all right, here's what you want to do if you want to do this position better. Here's what you want to do if you want to do that one-handed pile driver, that small-handed with 1 foot on the wall, and he looks like a superhero. Well, here's the muscles you need to do that. You're gonna do a lot of planks.
Oh, okay. So you break it down like just like okay,
yeah.
That's dope. That's actually really dope.
And so we're gonna hopefully have like our porno boot camp, which teaches people about the porno, but also our boot camp that just is fun and sexy and healthy and wonderful. We're working with a couple supplement lines about. Once again, like working on protein powders, pre-energy workout drinks.
Oh man, the whole bang.
Yeah, thermogenics, fat burners. It's all out there. I'm not recreating any of this. We're just putting a different label on it and being like, all right, you want to be sex focused? Let's be sex focused. You want to be focused for the Olympics? You do you. That's good. You go swim 3,000 miles and be that athlete. You can do your slalom. You can do. I don't know any Summer Olympic sports. I'm so Canadian.
I don't know. I don't know. It's basketball.
Right? You can work on your hoops. We'll work on our hoops.
Right,
okay?
right.
But yeah, so we're focusing Porn Boot Camp on just Porn Boot Camp. We want to bring in new people. We want to blow up those new people, and I want them to go on with the journey. And I'm going to be behind the scenes. Outside of the porn industry, I'm really working. I'm working on a couple different things.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is I'm working on my YouTube channel where I'm just cooking and building and doing a bunch of DIY.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole gimmick is that we don't break our nails.
Oh, nice. I dig that.
Stay pretty. But you can still jumpstart your car without breaking your nails.
Yeah.
We can still build a shelf. We can still do all this stuff. There are techniques to always protect the nails. But yeah, it's basically like a girl's how-to video, and we do some pretty cool stuff. We built a couch, we built a desk, and like a cool studio desk that has like 2 roll-out trays, so one for your keyboard, one for your musical keyboard.
Y'all getting into it.
Yeah, and like how to build things from scratch, like how to you got this desk, flea market for $5. Well, how do you turn it into a proper gaming setup? So working on that because that's fun, and I like to prove that I know stuff.
Yeah.
But then we're also I'm trying to do like a Sunday night sex show. Now, one of the things I had back in Canada growing up, we had Sunday night, what was it called? Sex, Lives, Love, and Audio Tape with Lorna Raskin. It was this call-in 2-hour radio show. And you'd call in and be like, I think I'm pregnant. And this guy would call in and be like, my dick won't stay hard long enough. And people ask a lot of the same questions over and over again because we all have a lot of the same concerns because we all have the same education and it's really lacking. And so one of the things throughout porn that I got really interested in was actual human sexuality and sex education. A lot of people come into porn boot camp thinking that they're the champ, and they don't know number one about even how to get a boner. It's mind blowing. The stories that we will tell you, mind blowing. What people think is normal, which isn't healthy even. Like it's been insane the things that I've seen people come to a professional porn set with, and we're like, whoa, you should see a doctor. Like you went your whole life thinking that was normal. Like that's like you might need surgery.
Right.
And so I really got into the health ed, the sex ed side of it. I've been following a lot of OBGYNs online, really learning in-depth information about like our reproductive organs and like how they work, how they're supposed to work, things that you should know that we don't know. And so I'm trying to create a show that's going to be really educational, really engaging, but still make it like we'll give you some razzle dazzle, but at the core of it, I just want to I want to be that inappropriate aunt that you can go to for all the questions your mom and dad won't answer for you.
I got you, baby.
Like you can't ask your mom. That's okay. Sunday night, you call me.
Right.
I'll tell you how it goes down. It's supposed to smell like that. It's all right. Because I just think it's so important. And the more I study like American education, I realize like how lacking some states are in sex ed. There was actually just last week there was a school board. The school board had a meeting to protest their students watching medical professionals like gynecologists and doctors on YouTube to get their sex ed. They're like, we can't allow our students to watch a doctor giving advice about their vagina. Oh! And I was like, why are they protesting? This should be in the household. Well, what do you know about ovarian cysts, Mom? Like, okay, teach me then.
Right.
Well, I never. You just won't have sex until you're 80. Like, that's not helping anybody here.
Not at all.
So I really want to create like another option that is available on a PG level, where you can get real-time information. The conversations I've had with people in the industry who are well-known working porn performers, the one I'll never forget is this girl who's like, we pee out of our clit, and that's why it feels so good when you pee, because it's the same place you have an orgasm from. And I was like, you don't pee out of your clit. We actually have a urethra for that. Like the fluid goes through the tube and comes out the hole. And she was like completely baffled, like, no, you pee out. I'm like, have you ever like taken a look? Like, that's not where it comes from. And she's like, but I thought it was like a penis. And I'm like,
oh man,
how do you not know that you don't have a hole to ejaculate or urinate from your clit? Like, are we talking about the same thing? Like, do you know what your clit is? And so once I had conversations like that and more conversations like that, I was like, full-grown adults, 30-year-old men and women don't know their own anatomy. But we need to have some sort of education. So as soon as Mac Movies is off doing its own thing, Porno Boot Camp's running its own thing, we got new performers blowing up, being amazing. My focus is going to go right into that education because it is so
it seems like it's missing.
So necessary.
Seems like people don't know, got a goddamn clue.
It's so insane. And the more I sit, like, I'm the one watching like the school board meetings about it, right? Like, I'm the nerd who's like, wait a second, how come School District 34 doesn't want them to know about? You can't say the C word. What? Cancer? No. COVID? No. Oh, condoms. Can't say that. Okay. Like, that's the C word? Okay. We got problems. And so, yeah, the more I look into it, the more I'm like, all right, I think my role in this world is just to be the aunt who knows too much about sex who will tell you anything. Because, like, someone's got to tell you.
And ain't no wrong with that.
And I've been working through a program called SHE, which is Sexual Health Education, which is the framework that is given to teachers to teach students.
Gotcha.
So working on that level has been really cool, and especially with the evolving culture that we have now. Now we talk about a person with a vagina instead of saying a man or a woman.
Gotcha.
You know, we say they and them a lot.
Yeah.
We want to be more inclusive because, you know, sexuality is hitting younger and younger and younger, right? I mean, I don't remember anyone being trans when I was in high school. But now you go to high school, I mean, you're more than you are more than free and welcome to be as trans as you want to be. It doesn't matter who you were last year. You don't have to be that person again this year. And so now I'm just like, okay, things have changed, and because things have changed, we have to adapt as well. So being involved in that initial program that is trying to stay as woke as possible.
Yeah. Trying.
It's really inspiring to see it. There's a community of men and women out there who medical professionals and teachers and educators who really just want to make it work. There's just not enough of us yet. So, but I've got a platform. I got a loud voice.
There you go.
People will watch me burn eggs in my kitchen, so they might as well hear me talk about reproductive eggs. Like, I've got the audience, I got the platform, I got the knowledge. It's time to put it to use. If you're going to watch me build a desk, we might as well have a chat about the C word.
Right? Because no, I'm definitely okay.
Use my powers for good, not evil.
not evil. No, I hear that. No, I like that. It seems like you bringing everything into a full circle, which is like what your brand is, what you out there, you know, getting to. And I like that because a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people don't know what's going on, and they be surprisingly in their 30s and going up, and it's just like, damn, you know. So I definitely respect that aspect of it. But wrapping up this interview, got two more questions for you, and the first one is, if anybody wants to join your porno boot camp, how can they get a hold of you?
Okay, so we get a lot of applications.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, look at this. I'll show you. How do I turn this on? This is the number of emails we have right now sitting and waiting.
Damn.
We have 30,000 emails waiting. And now I would say half of those are ridiculous.
Yeah.
There are other people just being like, hello, I'm not going to answer that.
Right.
My team's just going to delete that and move on. Now, my team is 2 people. We are very small. Because you gotta keep it family.
Yeah, for sure.
But so when we're going through all these emails, we're really looking for somebody who is. Our application form is on macmodels.ca, and we just ask, like, do you have any previous experience? You know, what are you looking to do? Where's our boot camp? You want to go to Mac Movies? Sorry, that's a lie. I mean, you can go to Mac Movies for some reference material. Macmodels.ca. We have a contact us page on there. There's a bunch of information about how to be involved in Porno Boot Camp. We do have pornobootcamp.com right now, but it'll just link you right back to Mac Models. It's all one email where we get the information. We want to know where you're from. A lot of times, like the 30,000 emails I have, I guarantee 15,000 of those are people who are in countries I can't even pronounce.
Right.
And they're like, oh, come here and make me a star. And I'm like, no.
Not at all.
No, I'm in Los Angeles. Part of my team is in Vancouver. Those are the only 2 places where we can help you.
Yeah.
Like, we can't come to Toronto. We can't come to Winnipeg. We can't come to New York. Can't come to Miami. This is where we are for now. Now, I hope to expand. Yeah. But right now, you got to be in one of those 2 locations. And a lot of people want to fly out for the experience. It's not worth your money, I promise. Because the jobs are so few and far between. So we'll have you'll email us, tell us where you are, your age, your experience, links to anything that proves that you've done something before. And then oftentimes, if we're interested, we'll ask you for a video of you talking to the camera, because
get the personality.
Yeah, I want to see if you can like make eye contact with the camera, and I want to know like how you speak to your fans, because we do a lot of virtual reality filming.
Okay.
I would say the majority of our amateurs start in VR, where it's like
you.
you and a camera. So if you look at a camera, you're like,
right.
This is me and a camera. It's not gonna cut it. We want to see you like make direct eye contact and be like, all right, 10 more seconds, and 9. What's the next? 8. You want to see that, like, we want to hear your voice purr. We want to see your body position. We want to know that you're making eye contact. You're not just looking at the viewfinder the whole time, that you're looking at the lens, and because that looks weird in VR.
I bet.
Like, she's this close in front of you and she's looking at your shoulder the whole time. Weird. So it's just little things like that we'll ask for, and then we'll start a conversation with you. Make sure you're of age. We never ask for nude photos up front, but obviously if you already have an OnlyFans or a fan page, a clip hit site, or a professional website, you're obviously of age, thank goodness. And then we get into the process of your first online assessment. So that's just talking over a Skype call with me and a couple directors. And a lot of times in that Skype call, we'll be like, okay, would you, once we verify your age, your consent, your identity, we go, okay, well, why don't you give us a presentation? Like, show us like a lap dance, a strip tease. You can hop on a vibrator. You can jerk off. But show us what you've got. And that's usually the make it or break it point. Well, I wouldn't do this on camera. I'm like, we're not recording, because like if we screen record, you can see it notifies everyone. We're not screen recording. This is about whether or not you are comfortable on camera, and that knocks out 50% of people real fast. Maybe 70%.
Damn, like that?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then that's where we start to see like really weird things. We had a girl turn around, spread her cheeks, and bend over, and she had this like I was gonna say toonie size. You guys don't have toonies here. Giant quarter-size mole on her butt cheek, and it looked like a little piece of poop coming out. And I was like, okay, we're gonna have to address that before we start filming your butt, because that could be alarming, especially in VR where you're this close to somebody's face. Might be alarming. So like that's something we need to discuss about either makeup or removing, or maybe we don't do butt stuff with you. And same thing with guys who like can't retract their foreskin, and they're used to only like masturbating by like rubbing their foreskin over the hood. And they can't retract it. I'm like, well, how are you going to penetrate anything? And they're like, well, like I've done it a couple times, and I'm like,
yikes.
You're not ready. You're not ready for the gangbang, sir.
Right.
And so that's where we start to have those conversations. And that's where we find our diamonds in the rough. That's where we're like, oh, wait, this guy's great. This guy's amazing. This girl's got it. That's when we start picking and choosing who we want to work with. And then we can elevate people to either sometimes immediate work. And sometimes we will curate our porn boot camps to what they need to work on to get them immediate work. Because we always have a list of stuff we have to produce that we need to fill the spots. We don't have people yet. There's more porn than people, believe it or not. So that's where we handpick people. We have had a lot of people get really offended, really upset, and at the end of the day, we are looking to fulfill a job. We have certain parameters we have to look for, and you may or may not fit that. If you don't fit it, it's not personal. I'm not looking for you. I'm looking for somebody to play Dr. Wanky Longwood, who is 6'2", and he's got an athletic build, and you came in at 5 foot nothing, and you got a hairy belly, and I have to shoot at VR, and I look down, all I see is a pile of fur. Like, you're not the guy for that job. And so I've had death threats. I've had people flip out, try to break shit. Like, had people punch my wall before, and I'm just like, you can't take it personal. I know this is a very vulnerable situation, and a lot of people think that like porn is a fallback career. I can have sex, the lights off, under the covers. I got this. Well, if nothing else works in my life, I'll just do porn. It is way harder than you think it is. And so in Porn Bootcamp, we start to talk about these things. Where's your light? Where's your camera? Where do you have to look? How do you turn out? We do a class called Positions and Transitions, so that you're not all knees and elbows trying to move around with your partner. What positions we start in, what positions we end in, how to do a professional pop shot, whether you're going to fuck to pop or jerk to pop. These are all things that we go over. So once, usually the girl usually can fake it, so it's easier for her to act a little more. But with the poor man, if he puts his hands down to like get a good penetration, to get that good pop, and his hand goes in front of the camera, and now we can't see the thrust, you've just ruined the money shot. Now the whole scene is wasted. And now I have to pay everyone a second time because of your fuck up. No.
She said no.
No. And it's happened. It's expensive. So that's why we teach these things. And then all of a sudden guys are like, oh crap, I have to show up. I have to act a certain way. I can flirt to a certain level, but I can't like be sexually aggressive with these women.
Yeah.
I can't pick who I'm working with. I have to like somebody because the script says the script says I like big asses, so obviously I like big asses. When a big ass walks in, you can't be like, oh no, that's too big. Like this is not like Johnny gets a date for $100. This is a job.
Yeah.
So Porn Boot Camp is a lot more than a lot of people expect. So we have multiple emails, online assessments, then the in-person assessment. And I've had people get all the way up to that in-person assessment. We're ready to hire them the next day. We think they've got potential. Like we're placing bets on this guy. And then they're like, no, I'm not gonna pull my dick out. I'm like, why are you here? Right. And then we had him back a second time. He's like, okay, I got this. Sending nude photos. And I'm like, I don't want your nude photos. I want you to show up, be professional. No, I'm not signing consent paperwork. What if somebody finds out my real name? Well, then you're not ready. Yeah. So that's why it's a long, drawn out process because there's a lot of people to weed out. Because once again, the idea of porn and the reality of porn, two different things. Yeah. And we unfortunately are, stuck in reality. So we have to follow those rules and regulations, and we have to fit actors into the job description. Yeah. So it is.
I did not know it was all that. God damn.
There's girls that I've hired and put on my roster that I haven't been able to use for a year. And there wasn't a role yet for them because they were beautiful. Yeah. They could do all the tricks, but they couldn't talk on camera. And I was like, all I have is VR work. You got to be able to talk.
All I have is VR work.
All I got is VR work. It's you and a camera. You got to talk. Right. Or it's a body under the camera that you could use, but he can't talk. He can't direct you. Right. You got to do all the work. And they're like, I don't talk on camera. Oh. All right. Well, just keep your face on the roster and see what happens. So there is work involved, and people don't understand that, and that's part of like the fantasy that makes it so compelling. But I'm here to ruin that fantasy and make it a reality.
Y'all heard that, folks. This is more than just having sex, goddammit. It is a real job, acting, blood, sweat, and tears going into this, goddammit. So if y'all thinking about doing it, think twice, think again, make sure it's the best move. It's from what it sounds like. But if you are going about it, holler at my girl right here. But she got hella emails right now, but they don't get to you. They gonna get to you. Trust and believe that.
But do not hit up my Instagram. Don't call me on Facebook or Twitter and be like, is my dick good enough for porn? Just let me have my cute little funny animals on Twitter, please. Right. Like go to macmodels.ca, hit me up there. I will check that email when I'm ready for that intense conversation. But like when I'm surfing through like funny animal memes, don't ruin it with your penis, man. Yeah, let me have my.
Oh, you don't want this?
Let's keep Instagram pure. Let's talk about building shit on Instagram.
No doubt. Well, thank you, Samantha Mack, for stopping on the Not Rated Radio show. We got some great insight on what the industry is all about, what you're all about. And this is one for the record books, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So I just want to say, drop a bomb on that. Yay! So thank you again. But before we get up out of here, can you let everybody know about your social media, where they can follow you at?
Yeah, okay. So you can see our movies at macmovies.com in Canada, macmovies.ca. My social media is the Samantha Mack, pretty much across the board, except Instagram, who has shut me down multiple times. So now I am
Instagram.
So now I'm the Samantha Mack _. Yeah. And YouTube, who has shut me down multiple times. I am now Samantha Mack Movies on Instagram, on YouTube. Okay. It's very new. I only got like 10 videos up. Brand new again.
So make sure y'all go watch, subscribe, run up them numbers. Let's get this out there. Let's get it popping, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And on that note, y'all be easy. We're going to catch y'all next week. Y'all stay safe out there. Not Rated Radio, your boy J Newz. Come on.